Friday, December 7th, 4 a.m. Mountain Time, 2018. Guys, in this video, we've got a lot of really good sky phenomenon to share. It's been coming in a lot lately, a lot of good stuff, so I'm going to use it while it's fresh. Later on today, we'll do a full global weather forecast and touch on some other things, but there's some really good stuff in here. What I want to start off with is something that looks like some sort of a sun anomaly sent in by a gentleman from Michigan, and he moves his camera around quite a bit. The object doesn't move. Normally in the past, and not always, but normally I've seen so many of these things that I dismiss most of them as some sort of a lens artifact. But watch what he does.
Do you see that? Move it around a bunch to show you that it don't move.
He was very emphatic about this. He went to 3 different locations throughout the day. It was taken this week from Michigan. And what I've done is run it through different filters, like I do a lot of things that we see in the sky, so we can get a little better look. And you can see there's definitely something in the video. It reminds me of the big sphere we saw back in 2012 off the 8 o'clock position of the sun. From the SOHO, or actually the SDO spacecraft right there. And, you know, I'm looking at this and I'm being optimistic, but normally this has got something to do with a reflective lens flare. However, it does seem to be stationary. So I'm leaving this one up to you guys. I just thought I'd go ahead and share it. Not trying to sell anything that's not real here. It's just the guy sent me 3 different video clips from 3 different locations. And you can see he is moving his camera around. It's not moving whatever we've got here. This is a different location at a different time, same day. And this one has a little different look to it. It's in the same general position. Again, you guys decide. You tell me. I'm just sharing with you what was shared with me. I run this through different filters, and it almost looks kind of transparent almost through the different filters, not in this filter here. This is the original format. In fact, it's not even a filter. So, you know, like I told him, behind glass sometimes it can create this phenomenon where it doesn't move, but you can see the lens artifact actually moving in the video. And there's actually 2 lens artifacts. Usually there's not a third one that's stationary at the 7 o'clock or 8 o'clock position of the sun. But in this video there is. And this was the 2nd location he went to, maybe the 3rd. I know he sent me 3 different videos. I'm using 2. And you can see here, I want to stop it real quick. You can see it's dragging light off of the corona almost, at least in this format. This is negative format, I think. And this anomaly, is what I'm calling it, is a different color. It's orange. And it looks like, you know, the thing we saw back in 2012. In fact, it's in the same exact location. So I'm looking at it for those reasons. You know, I'm always open-minded about different things because I know there are a lot of unusual things in space and the atmosphere we see all the time. But, you know, I'm a little leery about these sun pictures and videos. I'm just being honest with you because I've seen hundreds, if not thousands, over the years. And most of them can be dismissed as some sort of a lens artifact when you're photographing or videotaping the sun. You're photographing the brightest object in the solar system, so it's definitely going to have reflective anomalies and artifacts in the finished product. But this one here is not moving, I will say, and that's one thing he was emphatic about. He was moving his camera around, and this anomaly did not move. So I'm going to leave it up to you guys. Don't know. I've seen so many of these that were, you know, not true that, you know, I'm a little leery of any in the future that I do see. But this one is a little unusual, I will admit. just simply because it reminds me so much of that one right there back in 2012 that was spotted from a NASA spacecraft. In fact, we saw that on the SDO spacecraft, if I'm not mistaken, back in 2012. And that's just kind of what it reminded me of, was that moment there. So anyway, thanks for sharing. That was from Michigan earlier this week. I want to say on the 5th, from 3 different locations. Some more stuff that's came in that is really, really good. And I want to start with this photograph here. And you can see there's a hole punch cloud. In fact, let me show you the original picture here, sent in by Jennifer. Hole punch cloud with something symmetrical right in the center. And we've seen these things before, but we don't normally see what may or may have not went through the center of these things. This is some sort of a supposed natural phenomenon. Maybe it is, but in this case, there's some sort of a symmetrical, what looks like an object in the middle of this hole punch with a very busy cloud around it. It almost looks like it's being energized. And I've outlined for you guys the structure that I see. It's kind of hard not to see right there. There's a side here, side here. These are the same type of angles going up into this very busy cloud. And then underneath it is what looks like a bell. And we're going to take a closer look at it here in a little video clip that I put together with different filters of this picture and some other pictures that are absolutely exceptional, including this one here from North Seattle, sent in by Zach. Would you look at that? It's unmistakable. When you see some of the filters I run this photograph through, this is the original, sent in by Zach from North Seattle. Look at that. It's undeniable. Look. You can't miss it. Let's stop that for a second. That's in like the sci-fi format. But there's one right there. Absolutely crystal clear. That's an excellent observation. There you go. There's another one. That's in negative format. There it is. There's no doubt about it. There was definitely a flying machine flying over North Seattle. Right there it is. Incredible photograph. And once again, in the proximity of the sun. This photograph was sent in by Tica from Colorado. And you can see she was photographing this double rainbow, which we've been seeing a lot of those lately too. But for some reason, these light beams contained a square up here in the sky above the rainbows. She'd never seen that before. It wasn't any type of a lens artifact. It was some sort of a square. And when I run it through different filters, you can see light reflecting off of it, almost like it was in the sky. This is in the sci-fi or X-ray format, and you can see it's still there. Negative format, still there. There's your rainbow. Something over there that's round. I don't know what we've got going on here, but a lot of activity up here above these rainbows, and once again, in the proximity of the sun. This is a photo sent in by Jennifer from Alabama, and you can see there's that object. I drew the lines around for you. You can see like a side here that's got a very distinct feature that matches on the left, same as on the right. Angles are the same here. This is what looks like some sort of a bell housing underneath in the center, and then a lot of activity right here. And then, of course, a hole right above it. So, I'm just keeping an open mind. I'm not saying that that's what it is, but normally when we see these hole punch clouds, we don't see symmetrical objects in the middle of them like we do here. And there you can see that bell crystal clear. See it? That's like the shape of a bell. 2 legs over here. These are at the same exact angle. Goes up into an energetic cloud of some sort. It's like it's full of static. That's the way I see it. Full of static. There's the bell. There's the object. So great observation. And again, I don't know how you can't see that. It doesn't fit in with anything else. It's a totally different color too, and those were through different filters. This is a triangle that was spotted, believe it or not, by an elementary class out here in Phoenix. It was sent in by Cheryl today. Elementary class was out on the playground and spotted this triangle off in the distance and pointed it out to their teacher. Look at that. It's even got reflective properties. Unbelievable. I wasn't kidding when I told you there was some good stuff in these photographs. Look at that. And you can see it's moving right to left. Elementary kids saw that off in the distance right out here in Phoenix, Arizona. Good job, guys. And thank you, Cheryl, for sending that in. I greatly appreciate it. Jennifer, everybody, great pictures. Zach, that picture Zach sent in from Seattle, that, like I said earlier, was one of the best I think I've ever seen as far as a triangle goes. Unbelievable. Here's the rainbow with that square. This is the original without any filters. And there's the square that she saw from Bayfield, Colorado. This here is from Quebec. We're going to kind of close out with some rainbows here. Double rainbow. You can see the double rainbow on the lake out in the country. Nice photograph there. Rings around the sun. Don't see that very often, but it does happen from time to time. Been seeing some big halos lately coming in from Ron from Louisville, Kentucky. Alberta. Henry sent this one in the other day. Big high-profile halo. And guys, these things you see on the side, they're quite normal. They're associated with these full halos. At times, it depends on how thick the particulates are in the atmosphere. It does kind of look like a secondary sun sitting off to the right and left at times, but those are very common. I've seen those for years and years and years associated with some, not all halos. Like this halo here, it's a little higher on the horizon. This was taken by Christy out here in Avondale, Arizona, and you can see it doesn't have that feature. Sometimes it does, and sometimes it doesn't. But when it's lower on the horizon, more times than not, you'll see that feature coming through way on the far right and way on the far left. But when these halos are high above, they're generally just halos, and sometimes they'll have a blackish center, which is kind of unique. I remember my first time seeing one of those, and I don't remember seeing these when I was a kid growing up, and I played outside a lot all the time growing up. I remember seeing anything like that until my adult life. So this is something that's new to me, or at least relatively new in the past few years. And they are impressive when you see them. And been getting a lot of them lately, but I've been seeing those for years too. And the things off to the side, they're perfectly normal, guys. Have been seeing those for a long, long time. Haven't seen anything like this, though. This came out of Romania, sent in by... or as the photo was taken by Christian Adventure, and you can see colors going all the way up into the sky. Granted, this has been enhanced just a little bit just to pull these colors forward because they were there but not very visible. But the fact of the matter is they are there. This is a multi-layer rainbow that starts at the horizon around the sun or the sunset and goes way up into the atmosphere. I mean, this stuff is getting really wild that we're seeing around here. Seriously. It's good stuff. Keep the cameras rolling, guys, and keep them coming. I'm trying to get through the emails the best I can. I appreciate everything you guys do. I love Sky Phenomenon, and eventually it will all end up at the Sky Phenomenon Photo Gallery here at the website, MrMBB333.com. Thanks for watching, guys. Have a super day, and be safe out there.